God does not need no donation from you. Your giving is a spiritual transaction, not a donation.
So it's just messed up people. Your giving is nothing. God does not need, but God does not need it. So why are you taking it on His behalf? God does not need it, which is true. But why are you taking these things on God's behalf in the name of God? Robbing people in the name of God. You see, these people, they just make you look stupid. Make you look. In fact, I think before I even go ahead, let me read to you a letter that I just got. You remember in the beginning, well, if you were there from the beginning, I said I just received a letter from Oyedepo's people, Oyedepo's former members or present members, who are writing me, and I said I will share with you what I read. I think these people, they just reminded me I have to share what I'm reading. In fact, because this thing is just embarrassing, and it's absolutely ridiculous what this man is doing. Okay, see the letter I just got.
I want you guys to watch this video because most of the times when people like myself say things against some men of God whom we think are corrupt and are crooked, you guys out there get really angry, and you guys out there think that we are just calling them out because somehow we hate men of God, or somehow we don't want to see the body of Christ being practiced in Africa, or somehow we don't like the idea or the notion that God is winning in Africa. That's what you guys think. But that's not the point. That's not the point. The point is, when we look across our society, we see a lot of things that are broken, and we see how people have abandoned their responsibilities to themselves and to their society and just focus on God. Because one crooked man of God told them if they come to the church, all their problems will be over. And so they believed them. But I want us to watch this video, okay? And I want us to listen carefully to what this man of God is saying. At least he is a man of God, and he is saying what we all are saying. So I believe that him might have more credibility than myself because he's a man of God, right? So let us hear what he had to say about this whole religion and how it is being corrupted by some dubious men of God for their own selfish and sinister agendas. And after we watch, I shall give you my own take on what the man of God said. So, let's watch.
Okay, see what it's saying. Hello, sir. I can write a whole book on Oyedepo. He's not even saying bishop. This is a pastor. This was a pastor from Oyedepo's church. He said he can write a whole book on Oyedepo. He is the most corrupt pastor in Nigeria. This is somebody writing up. He is the most corrupt pastor in Nigeria. Pastor Sunday, you are thinking it is Ashimolowo that is the most corrupt? You thinking it's Adeboye? No, they are not. They are small compared to Oyedepo. Oyedepo's corruption, Oyedepo actually corrupted them. Oyedepo corrupted Ashimolowo. Oyedepo corrupted Adeboye. It was since Oyedepo made Adeboye his spiritual father that Adeboye became corrupt. Yeah. Okay, he was saying, okay, he left, okay, I will not read his personal stuff. Pastor Sunday, you know what? You are a dream come true. I never knew 6 years ago that a popular pastor like yourself, a popular person like yourself, can be so used by God to vindicate what we have all known. We pastors who are pastors under Oyedepo. What does this mean? Alagbari ni baba yen. Alagbari. Okay, I don't understand. So that's Yoruba word. I shouldn't read it. Should I? I shouldn't use it. I should read it. I can read it. Okay. Alagbari. Yeah, he said. Alagbari ni baba. Baba yẹn. Oh, okay. Alagbari ni baba yẹn. What does that mean? Alagbari ni baba yẹn. Then he said he is 419. Alagbari ni baba yẹn. Okay, somebody is writing. It means he's a scammer. So this guy is writing in Yoruba as that the guy is a con man. This is a pastor who worked closely with him, writing here. A pastor who worked closely with this man. That the man is Alagbari ni baba yẹn. How did you get it that that's what I was trying to read? You said, this man now has moved from Nigeria to England. He's now a doctor in England. And when he was a doctor in England, he is one of the people that treated Oyedepo in England when Oyedepo was sick. So he said this man is a wicked man. He's a con artist. They admitted Oyedepo to hospital in 2008 in England. For several weeks, he was sick in the hospital. But Oyedepo will come back to Nigeria. And even in that same England, he will not let any member of his church know. He will tell all our pastor that Baba is in Nigeria, he's doing prayers. He's in the mountain. He's on the mountain praying. But he was in the hospital in England. And they were treating him as a doctor too. And he said now that he will come after he came back from the hospital. He went to the pulpit and said he has never been sick in his life. So he's a liar. He said he has never been sick in his life. And that he never went to hospital. But when he goes to church, he will also tell his members to be drinking oil and be drinking Ribena and be wearing handkerchief when he is going to the best hospital in England. He's telling people that he has power to heal and his members should not go to the hospital. They shouldn't believe in diagnosis that they have been diagnosed with. And those people are dying sheep death. Where he goes for the best medical services. Pastor, I'm going to send you more information about him today. I'm ashamed for what I'm going to show you that that this man has done. I have disassociated myself from him. This is the letter I just got right now. I just so let's I think we have to hear that video again so that you will know how serious what we are doing is. And this man is just mesmerizing people's intelligence. He's just messing up people's intelligence.
The earth is the Lord and the fullness thereof. God does not need no donation from you. Your giving is a spiritual transaction, not a donation.
See what he's saying? That your giving, nobody needs your donation. Nobody needs your donation. And your giving is a transaction. This man here said when he was in that, as a medical doctor in England, he was giving to the church. He couldn't even afford anything. But see what he's saying. But after I left Winners, when he stopped, he said, I stopped taking my tithe offering, all those Shiloh, everything. I stopped giving tithe. He even stopped giving tithe. He said, but though I do giving, free will giving to people, but I stopped giving tithe. He said, when I left Winners, 50% of all our friends, disappeared. But to be honest, I bless God for that because we started going to a white church. Where in that white church, in 100 years, nobody ever called for money or tithe. But see what has happened. The things I couldn't do in Winners, because they were taking all the money, offering, giving, everything. But after I left Winners, I have bought a house that is costing for $500,000. Pounds. £500,000. So £500,000 house is where I'm living right now. I've been able to buy a house costing 500,000, 500,000, $500,000, just the house alone. After leaving, thank God they left. Oh, all that money was going to winners. They were saying we will not be blessed. It is after he left winner that he started being blessed. When he was there, he couldn't be blessed because he was taking everything to the church. He said, apart from that, Pastor, I've built houses, several houses in Nigeria. I've built several houses in Nigeria, not on loan. None of this thing is on loan or on credit. Not the house in England on loan, not the house in Nigeria, just from saving, from not paying tithe for 6 years. He stopped paying tithe for 6 years, and in between those 6 years, he has built many houses in Nigeria, and he has built a $500,000 house in all those things he was supposed to be taking to church for tithe, for offering, for this offering, for that offering. He is now building wealth. That is what Nigeria would have become if not for these churches. Can you imagine all those money every family has taken to churches for they have to have invested them? If every family has invested, started business, can you see the booming economy that would have been happening in Nigeria? It is the churches that are hoarding all the wealth of Nigeria. They are being hoarded. What do you mean? What do I mean by hoarding? Let's say there is rice. There is production of 1 million rice. And all the churches are saying, bring all the rice. So you brought all the rice, and all the rice are piled up in these churches. Then there is no more, only 1 million. No, all the 1 million, or maybe 800 out of 1 million, or 900 out of 1 million, hoarded. They are keeping them. Only 100 is left, bag of rice is left for the whole country. That's why poverty is. Nobody can eat because only the ones who are powerful and more money can afford that 100. That's how poverty comes to the country. So the wealth of the country is hoarded by these churches. Let's say we have 1 million bag of rice. All the 1 million bag of rice is being taken to the church. The whole country is pure. No rice to cook, no money rice to sell. No, you cannot do business, you cannot save, you cannot be industry. That is what has happened to Nigeria. These churches have killed our economy. These churches have killed our people. These churches, you cannot send your children to school. You cannot, go build your pension plan. You cannot build your industry. You cannot start your own business. You cannot because all the money has been taken to the churches, and the churches are holding them down. This is what happened to this man. He stopped taking money to winners, and his breakthrough came. All these people who are deceiving themselves that it is by taking money to Oyedepo or any of these churches that they will have breakthrough is lie. The only person who's going to have breakthrough is Oyedepo himself. And you will be having poverty. So this man said he has houses all over Nigeria now. Apart from that, he's still writing, I got to the peak of my career as a medical consultant in the UK. After he left, because when he was in the church, he was a pastor. Assistant pastor, because the pastor there is, in the UK is there in the son and all that. So he was an assistant pastor. He was running up and down as an errand boy. He has to drive Oyedepo because he's a medical doctor. He has to drive Oyedepo, the wife. He has to take. He didn't have time to develop his profession. He couldn't read because by the time you come back home, you are tired. No time to develop yourself. But thank God he stopped going to Oyedepo's church. As a result, he said he got to the peak of his career as a medical consultant in the UK. A Nigerian in the UK hospital who was not even bread and butter in UK before. I got my citizenship after I left the church. I couldn't get my citizenship. He couldn't get his papers. And he was paying, giving seed to get the papers. They were telling them to go and do this, to go and do that. Breakthrough will come, you get your papers. He couldn't get any of those things. He couldn't get the house, he couldn't get anything. Now, everything came after leaving these are Nigerian churches. He said, no man lays hands on me to get all these things, so just by hard work. And I didn't do any covenant, anything. I didn't even give tithe. No covenant, nothing. And I got all these things.
Okay, guys, welcome back. I believe most of you guys have heard what the man of God said clearly. And there are no contradictions to what he said, right? Some men of God are very, very horrible people. They lie, they cheat, they deceive. They pretend like they never get sick while they have their private doctors on a speed dial. They travel abroad and get all the medical attention they need while they come on the pulpit and lie to us and tell us how, because they believe in God, so they've never been sick for a day. And if you are out there believing all these lies, well, you have yourself to blame. I can remember when I was way more younger, we used to have a church. I can't remember the name exactly, but I think it's Deeper Life or one of those born again churches. In the church, they don't believe in medical attention, they don't believe in hospitals or doctors or medicine, and so on and so forth. And they had a severe issue with one of their members. Rather than taking this person to the hospital to get the medical attention that they need to save their lives, they kept on praying. In fact, the husband brought the wife to church and asked members of the church to pray for the wife. And you know what happened? She died. She died. She died. And even after she died, they still believe it was the will of God. They still thought to themselves that if God wanted this person to survive, God would not have let the person die. That was what they thought. And I was like, what is wrong with these people? How fanatic can these people be? How can you believe that prayers can cure someone who needs medical attention? How can you even believe that? You know, God has created medicine. God has created people with brains who have brought medicine to us that we could consume and get healed from our different illnesses. So how can you believe that prayers will cure someone who is sick? How can you even believe that? You know, it was really, really sad. And you will see the men of God in these so-called born-again churches spread this all over the place. They will keep on telling you that God can save you from your illnesses, that God can do this, that God can do that. And do not get me wrong. Do not get me wrong. There are a lot of things God can do. That is true. There are a lot of things God can do. But there are so many things that God won't do that we have to do all by ourselves. Not that God cannot do, but God won't do them. God has given you brains. God has given you eyes. God has given you knowledge. You have got to apply all these things. You have got to know that paying tithe to a man of God only enrich the man of God. You have got to know that giving your money to the church doesn't actually enrich you, but enriches the church, which is not a bad thing entirely. But we all have to be clear as to the reason why we are giving. We have to be clear, because if the purpose of giving to the church is so that God can multiply you and somehow give it back to you, then you are being misled. But if the purpose of giving is to promote God's work on earth, is to help your man of God fund his luxurious lifestyle or care for the less privileged people in our society, then that is an excellent thing to do. That is it. God will not do for men what men ought to do for themselves. And I'm quite sure that all the David Oyedepo and the Enoch Adeboye and all the Chris Akilome with all the David Abioye and whatsoever, they all know. They know this very well. But since they've met gullible people, since they've met ignorant people, since they are dealing with stupid people, they are fooling them. They are lying to them. And please, let me just say this before I go. Do not let yourself be deceived, okay? Worship your God, serve your God, pray to God, but know God for yourself. I believe that if there's one important thing that you can take from this whole video is that know God for yourself. Read your Bible by yourself and understand your Bible all by yourself, and pray to God to educate you on how to interpret the Bible correctly or how to understand the Bible correctly. If you could do all this all by yourself, that would be a blessing to you. Believe me.